According to ESPN research, the Seahawks finished with 22 quarterback pressures against Arizona. They had 10 quarterback hits, including a team high by DeMarcus Lawrence. But this extrapolates to a much bigger picture. The Seahawks are now have 146 pressures on the season. Why is that significant? That's the most by a team through 9 games since ESPN began keeping this statistic in 2009. What did we talk about yesterday, or last week rather, when the Bills took care of the Chiefs? It wasn't that they sacked Patrick Mahomes a lot. They got to him once or twice. They threw him completely off his game. And when you add a DeMarcus Lawrence to a defense like they already have in Seattle, suddenly you get that monster situation. He has 4 sacks and he's only played 8 games, but he's been a completely disruptive force. And we talk about this all the time in a lot of areas, and it's important that you understand. Look, sacks are the glory stat, right? You know, Myles Garrett went into Sunday averaging more sacks per game than anybody in the history of the NFL, and he's had the most sacks for anyone under the age of 30. He's a sack monster. There's no question about it. But Myles Garrett does more than just sack the quarterback. He's a disruptor on almost every play. And if you get the quarterback down on the ground, great. That's a wonderful thing. But as long as you make the quarterback uncomfortable, as long as you move him off his spot, as long as you make them rethink the play, unless you have a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes or a Lamar Jackson, that's going to be the end of a lot of plays for a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of offenses. So when you see those pressures adding up for Seattle, again, 146 through this late in the season, the most since ESPN research has been keeping that stat since 2009. So we're talking at minimum about a 16-season sample here, which is a pretty decent size. You will begin to appreciate just how important pressures are and how important the signing of a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence has been for the Seattle Seahawks.